Hello, caviar connoisseurs, and welcome to this week's episode, week 24 of Sports Caviar. As you can see, I'm a man of my word. I got the mustachio rocking, loud and proud with my buddy Bajan right here joining me. What's up, Bajan?
It is wonderful to be here with you and your wow. Yeah, let's give that thing some airtime. And the mustache, Burn, and I think Javier going to update us on his whereabouts. I don't think we'll be blessed with Burn this week, but it feels like we have three guests or three panelists with that mustache. It needs its own
Yeah,
mic. Look at it.
filling in
Let's
for
remove
me.
the hat just for a second. I want the viewers, if you're on the YouTube, you're really going to get to see it. This is a handsome man to begin with, but wow, this is like Denzel Washington and Steve Harvey had a love child. And it's phenomenal. It is beautiful. America actually won here. You didn't want to see Burn Uriah with this thing. It's working. Legalize mulligans, legalize mustaches. Looks fantastic.
I will say this: we're gonna have plenty more opportunities for you and Byrne to have the stat in 2024. Byrne is not going to be joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for this particular episode. We did miss you last week. Just a little bit of a update. This is going to be a nice premiere show here for you guys. Next week we'll be off, and then we'll be hitting the ground running, getting you ready for March Madness and everything after that. But Byrne, he couldn't make it for the most random reason of all time. Okay. So the reason why Bern Nasty is not with us this week is because he had to substitute teach, get this, a Lamaze class.
Wow. Dr. Byrne, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, he gives back to the community. I saw him at the Black Tie and Denim Affair. Women's health, he's passionate about. I mean, I am shocked that this man is still single. He's a Renaissance man. Lamaze classes, community events. I mean, who doesn't love Byrne? Always giving
What
back.
what is he? But I have so many questions when he told me about this. I have so many questions on number one, when did he get certified for this? Number two, can we get some live video of
Oh
him
my, maybe
teaching the
not.
class?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of breathing techniques. Byrne keeps himself pretty moderated. So I think it's like medical yoga, a lot of
I
breathing,
don't Yeah, we wasted
timing.
our time on our first child doing Lamaze classes beforehand because I remember when we were in the delivery room and I was like, "Okay, this is my time to shine. I have
Coach.
to put to
Yeah.
work what we learned in these terrible Lamaze classes that I almost fell asleep in half the time." And I just remember telling her, telling the wifey, I'm like, "Just breathe." And I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm such a waste of space right here. Like, they might as well just kick me out of the room. This is stupid."
Yeah. Yeah. We're just there to support. God bless those are caring and that have birth. And God bless Byrne. He's a coach at heart, out there coaching the next generation and those that carry him. Byrne, this one's for you.
Good job, Burn. We're gonna start out with the NBA. The NBA is rolling right now because All-Star Weekend has passed. First things first, what were your thoughts on All-Star Weekend? Do you like the all the different things they have going on each night or in the actual All-Star game itself?
I think that the NBA All Star game is the premier All Star event of all the major sports. Not necessarily the game. The game is complete. Might as well be the Globetrotters and and the Generals running up and down, except both teams are the Globetrotters. But All Star Saturday night is phenomenal. I love the 3-point challenge. I like the dunk contest. I thought that they handled the Steph matchup very classy and give her a ton of credit. 26, she would have won, I think, the first round in the real 3-point shootout. So I thought that was a really good event. Steph had to sweat into that last rack to get to 29. I think NBA All Star Saturday night skills challenge, you could take it or leave it. But NBA All Star weekend, I think, is the best of all the major sports.
Yeah, but NFL Pro Bowl is just trash.
Gosh, yeah.
Nothing to do for that. But I think the MLB All-Star game is probably right there with MLB has the actual All-Star game. I think that beats the NBA. The fact that they just go out there and they just scored over 200 points with it's just nobody. I don't think anybody really enjoys watching that per se, but I do like the 3-point contest. I like the sophomores versus rookies on opening night there. The three-point contest, I think, is probably the best, but the dunk contest, I think, is okay.
Represented
Yeah,
as predicted, back to
but
back,
you
jumping
predicted
over
that one.
shit.
Yeah, my 2 picks were not doing so well in that one. Karl Anthony Towns out of nowhere. Burn
Ooh.
Nasty almost pulled off an upset there with
See, he was on to the big fella. How about what do you just think about the MVP? I'm gonna read you a stat line here, Hav. I'm not gonna tell you the points because that'll give it away. Would you rather have as an MVP of the All-Star game field goals 14 for 26 versus 11 for 15, rebounds 3 against 7, assist tied at 6? Which player would you rather have?
the more efficient player.
Exactly. How does Halliburton not get it at home? 11 for 15. He was 10 of 14 from three, 32 points against Dame. Dame played tremendous. But talk about efficiency to your point. How does he not get it at home? Dame just won the
Yeah,
3-pointer. Give Halliburton some love. And the East as well. They're 2.5 point dogs and they blew out the West.
that would be a really hard game to bet on, by the way.
Yeah, I had the East and I had Halliburton MVP and I was irate.
Yeah, did anybody have the over? Because I'm sure the over hit.
Oh my gosh. The over was, I think, 339. And what did it end at? 211 to 189 or one something like that? Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it
So
was.
then next year will be
That's crazy.
360 or 370. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think that it was a cool thing because there's not as many sporting events occurring right this second. And, like, for the younger generation, like, for my son and stuff, I think it was like a NBA All-Star Weekend is awesome because it
And oh
brings
yeah,
it
my
back to
boys
when
were
I
all
was
over it.
younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's better for, like, that generation, like, the whole pageantry of it.
Super cool. We were on a ski trip with some friends and had 7 kids between us, all between like
Oh,
ages 6 and 12. And they had a blast with the
yeah.
All-Star game. They were so motivated that we played a game of Uno. And they made each person, they were inspired by the game, made up their intro music to get introduced to the Uno table. Super fun. A lot of fun.
I love that. That's like WWE style right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a blast.
Alright, since we're on the topic of the NBA, I kinda wanna get us up to date on where we stand right now. If you actually look at the standings, there was a couple races in the divisions that I was surprised about. So we're gonna talk about the ones that are close. The Celtics, have the division all but one. I think that the Knicks are going to be in the playoffs for sure. It's just it's a challenge for the division. I don't know if there's enough games left for that.
Mm.
So the first division, and we're gonna make some picks here. The first division that I want you to tell the audience, and this is probably the most shocking to me. There's a couple that were shocking, but so right now, Cleveland is actually 1 game ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks. And so can they hold on to this lead until the end of the season? That's the big question.
I think they can. Cleveland is legit. Their defense, top 3 in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell, Mobley. They're not even getting the best out of Garland yet. He's still on his way back, just out of minutes restriction. This is a team, Astros can shoot it, that plays tremendous defense. They can also score as well. So I think their offense, maybe not as good as Milwaukee's. Their defense is by far better. Now, Milwaukee's improved on defense. But when you look at the schedule down the stretch, Cleveland has right in the middle of the pack, the 12th hardest, so nothing overwhelming. Milwaukee's almost top 5 hardest schedule down the track here, down the final stretch. So because of that, and because I like what the defense that Cleveland plays, I think Cleveland can hold on. Give me the Cavs.
This is a tough one because I think that the easy answer would be to say that Milwaukee is going to win this division and why bet against former champions, but there's something wrong here with the whole equation with the Bucks, and I think that a lot of it has to do with Doc Rivers. They decided to fire their head coach who had an 800 winning percentage when he got fired, which was just really baffling to me. Doc Rivers comes in. You got Milwaukee playing in the background, right? I think they're playing right
I
now.
do. They're up on the Hornets. Fortunately, they play them back to back nights, so that will help.
That'll get them back to 7-7. So they're 5-7 with the doctor at the helm, and I feel like Obviously, you gotta give it some time. It's a whole new system. Why in the world would you fire a coach in the middle of the season and to force this upon your team? Who knows? But we'll see. I do think that we're making picks here. I'll take Giannis and Dame Dollar to win the division. I think if Cleveland would have had a couple more game lead, if they were up by maybe 3 or 4 games, I would have probably jumped on the Cavs. I do think that Donovan Mitchell is just the man
Oof.
right now. He's like a
Yeah.
top 5 point
Oh,
guard.
yeah. Easy. Oh, yes, easy. He might be a top 5
Uh,
player. If you look around the league, top 7 player in the league probably right
yeah,
now.
he's just playing lights out right now. We'll see. I mean, he's definitely balling out right now, so I'm gonna take Milwaukee on this one. But it's with I'm going with under the impression that they're gonna get it together under the doctor, but I wouldn't be surprised actually if they just keep on heading down this road. We'll see.
They
Uh,
have improved on defense since Doc, so they've gone from almost last to second in the NBA in fast break points allowed. So they are since Doc took over second in the NBA in fast break points, and they've also lowered their points in the paint from 54 to 58, 48 allowed. So that's 6 points. That's 2 or 3 possessions per game. This is a long-term play for those tough playoff battles, but not paying the dividends to your point, they thought it probably would right away, but I like it long term, but I think the Cavs are just a better all-around basketball team. I know that's crazy to say.
yeah, it is. It was shocking when I was
Yeah.
looking at the standings, to be honest. The next division I want to talk about here, we've talked about it a little bit, is the Magic and the Heat are
Fire.
they just keep on toggling back and forth. One game, the Magic will be up, the Heat will be up. Now, one thing that I'll preface with this is I don't know why the NBA does it like this, but they actually go by record for playoff seeding regardless, right? So if Miami or Orlando win the division, they'll slide into the 6th seed, which they'll be in the play-in tournament. They don't automatically get a top 4 seed
Wow.
in the playoffs. So, I thought that was weird. You should be rewarded for winning your division, don't you think?
I think so. I think maybe there's a cap on it. Maybe you get I think the NFL does that where the worst you could get is the 4 seed as the division winner. Maybe they
Mhm.
do that. I would be open to that. I do like that it's you have to win. It's amazing. The I-4 corridor, Miami and Orlando back and forth. It's very both teams very defensive minded, very well. Look at what the Heat did last night in Sacramento. Jimmy Butler out, bunch of their other players out, and they come and just smoke Sacramento with a lot of their backups. That team, Spoelstra puts together a tremendous game plan. Demands talk about Heat culture. It's a real thing. Give them a lot of credit. Oh, Miami's 11-2 in that division. 11-2 in the division.
Yeah.
Magi just 6-6, and we love the Magi, but man, it's hard to go against Miami right now.
Yeah, are you picking them?
I I don't want to pick the Heat. I want to beat the Heat, but the record and the way that Miami plays defense on a consistent, they're in every ball game. I've got to go. And not that I want to, but I'm going to go with Miami in the division.
I'm thinking the Magic right now, a live score update, they're up by 40 on Utah. So,
On
uh,
Brooklyn,
on Utah, are they playing Utah?
I think they're playing the Nets right now.
Oh, then they're up by 40 on the net.
Yeah. The Nets have cashed it in.
Um,
Yeah, they ready for the offseason. Yeah,
uh,
97-69 right now. Oh gosh. Ooh. Ooh.
yeah, is it against the Nets?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Have yourself a well. Okay. Maybe I want to pick the Magic then.
Have
You know what?
yourself a day.
I'm not going to pick the Heat. I'm picking the Magic.
I
Rewind the
like it.
tape. I
Okay.
can't pick the Heat. I don't care if it's logical. I'm not going with the Heat. Give me the Magi.
We're getting a, live flip-flop here. I was
Yeah.
checking the schedule to see if the Magic play the Heat anymore. They do not. So,
That series is done.
yeah, it is. Tonight's game, they're whooping up. Let's see who's doing good. Wagner's 21. It's just been a team game. They don't even Banchero's not even playing tonight for the
He's
Magic.
probably exhausted from All-Star Weekend where he played every event every time. Or Paolo Banchero.
I
Good
know.
for him. He had himself a
I'm going
weekend.
with
It
the
was great.
Magic. I think the Magic can pull it off. I do think that the Heat, obviously, they're perennial Eastern Conference contenders, right? Just
Yeah.
every year it seems like it's Celtics and Heat. I don't think this year is going to be the case. they've got too many holes. I think Jimmy Butler's getting up there a little bit. I would have loved for the Magic to have addressed some needs so I could feel a little bit more confident about this pick, but I
Yeah.
think we can do it. So I'm gonna stick with the Magic on that one with you as well. The other division, this one is probably the sexiest division in the NBA. So you have Minnesota and OKC are tied.
Oh, absolutely.
The defending champion Denver Nuggets are 1.5 back. Who's gonna win that one?
What a loaded. The Northwest is a cornucopia of talent of three really good teams. This may surprise some people, but I love Denver. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to go deep into the playoffs. However, they have not been healthy. Jamal Murray just can't stay on the court. Jokic is
Yeah.
carrying a lot of that load right now. Michael Porter playing much better. Aaron Gordon's been phenomenal. However, I like Minnesota and like their defense. But what I really like is a team that doesn't know what they should know, and that's OKC. SGA playing at all world level on both ends of the court. This guy plays defense. He runs the team. He scores, assists, he rebounds. You got Chet. You got Giddy. They just picked up Gordon Hayward. They've got a slightly easier schedule than Minnesota. Denver's is pretty tough. You know what? Give me the Thunder to roll. And the Thunder roll. When's the division?
This is just tough for me 'cause
Oh,
Minnesota's playing so good this season, and
yeah.
OKC, they're just so young. I think they've done kudos to them for putting that team together because it's just like a perfect blend of very complementary they play complementary basketball. Holmgren ended up being I guess it's debatable, who's been the better pickup, Holmgren or Banchero? Because they were 1 and 2 that season.
Man, that's hard. I think ooh, I don't know that I give me probably long-term Banchero. I think he'll stay. Think he has a higher ceiling. Banchero's getting that mid-range jumper going. Chet
Yeah,
could get a little bit better, but give me Banchero could lead. He could be a top 3 scorer in the league once he gets that mid-range jumper. Chet's not gonna be there, but Chet can give you so much else
stretch
defensively.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want Banchero slightly, but man, I wouldn't be upset with Chet. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it really is a classic case of, a really good draft class right there
Yes.
for with those 2 anyway, because the Magic really were deciding between him and Holmgren that season. That being said, I think that if we're gonna learn any lessons from the NFL, it would be don't bet against the defending champs if they have their stars at the helm, and Jokic, as far as I'm concerned, is healthy. So, I can't put my money on OKC or Minnesota. If anything, they would probably be more apt to choke down the stretch, and Denver's been there and done that. I'm gonna take Denver to and they're only down by a game and a half too as well. I think this is gonna be probably the most interesting matchup down the stretch to watch, to be honest with you.
I agree, and I
Um,
think I agree with you. Denver's gonna go deep in the playoffs. I think OKC may expend a little bit more energy to get that division title, and I don't think they go as far in the playoffs, but I like them to make
yeah,
but Denver's not a bad pick either. Either is Minnesota, like,
yeah.
this is an incredible division.
Yeah, if you're talking about home court advantage, Denver needs it. So I think
Mhm.
that they'll probably exert some energy to try to get that division as well for the seeding purposes. See here, this was shocking to me. The Clippers, out of nowhere, are have a 4-game lead on the Suns, which coming into the season, everybody thought Bradley Beal was going to be everything for Phoenix and Sacramento. Who do you got in that
I
division?
was wrong. I said it before and won't surprise the listeners, I'm saying it again. James Harden and the system, whatever it is, it's working. Those 3 veterans are carrying their ball club. They've got some good role players like Powell, P Plumlee, still in the league and playing well, shooting left-handed free throws. This team is they're a veteran squad that can
Yeah.
score, can play defense when they want to. I really like the Suns. I think KD is a killer. This guy's a winner. However, he's got to rely on Devin Booker. And there is no Bradley Beal. There's no consistency. Unfortunately, I was right about that. Just can't stay healthy. And I hate to hear that, especially being a Gator. Hate to see it for anybody. The other thing the Suns have going against them, they have the toughest schedule in the NBA down the stretch. The number one toughest. Clippers is ninth or 10th. Give me the paper clips. They're changing the logo. Gonna have I don't know if you saw it, a new boat on there. Gonna be very
No.
nautical. It's very sharp looking. They got a new arena next year or the year after. Clippers coming up. Getting out of the
That's
shadow of
good.
sharing with Big Brother.
What's up with Bradley Beal's health?
I don't know. He's just never on the court. He's wearing a face
Like, is
mask last
he
time I saw him. It was his foot, heel, shoulder, nose. It's like a game of Simon Says. I don't know. Head, no, shoulder, knees, and
oh,
toes.
he's got a hamstring right
No,
now.
it's a hammy. Okay.
That's a tough one. We saw it in the playoffs last season. Booker and Durant aren't enough for the Suns.
No,
They needed Beal to be healthy and to be I'm just shocked by this. I can't believe that the Clippers have a 4-game lead. I would like to say that Sacramento has enough in the tank to be able to come back and win this division. They were so good last season, but they've fizzled a little bit.
they play
Um,
no defense. They play no defense, and they're not tough. It's not a tough team. I love to
yeah.
watch them. Really fun team to watch. They don't have that grit. De'Aaron Fox, as good as he should be, he disappears at times. Sabonis is having a career year. That guy has been phenomenal. If De'Aaron Fox would just get near the level of last year, they would be almost unbeatable. It just hasn't been there. Harrison Barnes has been great, but they're not consistent, not gritty.
I can't believe that I'm gonna say this, but I think that the Clippers are gonna win the division too. I can't believe it,
They're
but
not.
I'm assuming this is with the assumption, obviously, that Kawhi and PG are going to actually play sufficient amount of games down the stretch to win the division. With those guys, you never know too. They're
That's
kinda
true.
like in
Yeah,
the Beals
I'd say
category.
Kawhi's been playing a lot more. And when he's
Yeah,
on there, they're so much better defensively. His arm, just his radius, his knowledge of the game is just phenomenal.
yeah.
This is a team that knows
Lost.
how to manage the workload and get it done.
Yeah, I'll go with the Clippers on this one too. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm not picking them to make a deep run in the playoffs though, just
It's
for the record. This is just who's gonna win the division that we're talking about. Last division that is close right now is this is another shocker to me, is the Pelicans. They have a 1-game
yeah.
lead on the Dallas Mavericks. Can they hold on to that, or what do you got?
No, give me the Mavs. I love their pickups at the dread line. What's the dread line? If it's that's the Magic had a dread line, 'cause they make any deals. It's a deadline, the trade deadline.
That's what
I
they
love
did.
Gafford. I love PJ Washington. I also love their super soft schedule. Their winning percentage for remaining opponents is 49%. New Orleans is a top 10 difficulty down the stretch. Zion, I love him. Will he stay in shape? Will he make it through the season? I don't know. Give me Luca, give me Kyrie to at least win that division. I don't know if their defense carries them through the playoffs, but they're going to win that division.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Doncic is probably top 3
Oh, yeah.
NBA players. That guy is just ridiculous. What did he score? 83 earlier this season? So you know that he's got it in the tank. I have no faith in New Orleans whatsoever. I guess the fact that Zion's been playing is a good sign.
Brandon Ingram's been wonderful. Ingram is really blossoming into the player that he was drafted as. He has been really special this year.
It's he's in what, his 11th season? He's been in the league for a
Yeah.
while.
It's what, 7th or 8th, I think, for real. It's been longer
Is
than
it?
anybody would guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. I'm happy for him. Obviously, they put a lot of stock into Zion, but he's had some off the court things happening, and I'll go with Dallas as well. This past weekend, I played in an I guess, like a best ball golf scramble type thing with a couple buddies, and I have to
You win
just
the
give a
scrambles. You love a
shout out.
scramble. Scrambled
Well, I'm
eggs, scrambled golf
yeah,
tournament.
I agree. I love the scrambles because I don't have to rely on my own shot, that's the way I like to
Amen
show
to
up to
that.
the
That's
court. You know what I'm saying? I can hit a couple maybe a couple chips, but I'm not trying to rely on my shot every time. But if you guys are on the IG,
yeah.
Instagram, check out the handle Healthy Chef Jose. Possibly the best burrito that I've ever he brought a breakfast burrito to the golf course for me that morning.
Part of your
And
scramble is one of your 3 partners?
yeah, he was. We were playing against him. It was actually me and my buddy Fiz against him and my buddy Reynolds Rap. And Jose decides that I'm gonna bring you a breakfast burrito. I was like, "Okay, no big
Mm.
deal. That sounds good." it was probably the best breakfast burrito I've ever seen that I've ever had in my entire life. So,
What? Tell me about
um,
let's talk ingredients, let's talk cross
yeah,
section, let's talk size, let's talk
there it was huge. It had everything that you possibly could need in a burrito. There was
is it
he had
chorizo?
it was smoked sausage, he had, bacon on the grill, he had the hash browns going, eggs, some sort of hot sauce on there,
Gotta have
drizzled.
some, yeah.
There was a couple other ingredients I can't remember all off the top of my head, but he just finished posting a reel of the burrito. So check him out, check it out, and I told him that he just needs to, like, start, like, a food truck only for breakfast burritos and just sell them on Uber Eats. So,
I'm all for it.
um
Healthy chef. I don't eat breakfast as a rule, but I will tell you what I do make exceptions for is a Taco Bell Crunch Wrap AM Crunch Wrap Supreme. I feel the same way about breakfast burritos, so I can't wait. I can't wait to
yeah,
the gram tonight, and then I'm gonna order. Send them frozen.
he needs to.
Chef Jose, if you're listening, please, Huntersville, North Carolina, just ship it. I'll pay for shipping.
Yeah.
We'd love to. I need some burritos out here.
The funny thing of that, I guess maybe the ironic thing about his IG handle is it's healthy, Chef Jose, but the breakfast burrito is probably 7,000 calories.
But you're gonna burn it off. You're starting with that. It's good protein, it's good fat, and
Yeah.
then you just feed off of that for the rest of the day.
And then you could just tell the wifey that, "Oh, no, I got this from Healthy Chef Jose, so it's
Yeah.
healthy."
Oh, great. Oh, okay. I've seen him, Ellis. That's fine.
I was actually so we're talking about food here, I was thinking about this over the weekend, I was like, just thinking about just random words and stuff, and I was like, "Why do they call a restaurant? Like, where does it derive from?" Obviously, the rest part I get, but what is the "arrant" part of
Wrong.
it?
It's not English. I would guess French. I don't know what the meaning is. I don't know if it's to you tell me, Have. You probably know the I imagine it's a French word. It sounds fancy. You could just say diner in the South here. But restaurant, tell us, Have. With that mustache, I feel
Yeah,
like
it's French. Obviously, I had to look it up, but it's a French word for restorer.
restoration.
And
Okay.
then yeah, so it's like to restore oneself. So my thing is like, why didn't we just name it a restaurant instead of a restaurant? Like, where did they get the "arrant" part from?
It's better. You're going to eat. You want a little around with your meal. You don't want the orant. You want an around. It's like
Restaurant.
ratatouille. A, an around.
Yeah, and then I was thinking to myself because I was listening. We went to church on Sunday, and the pastor that was talking, he's from Alabama, and he used the word hankering,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, I wonder how often people use that word. Do you ever use hankering, or is that just you gotta be, like, deep South to use
That's
that?
definitely Alabama style. If I'm you gotta really be craving. Like, sometimes I know I just gave 'em a plug, but sometimes I just have a hankering for Taco Bell. Now that happens 2 or 3 times a week. I have a problem. But when I just need something deeply, like a hankering for some Taco Bell. I also if I really want gummy bears, I can get into a hankering, but it's only certain items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just
you
need
use that
passion.
word?
No, that's probably a 3 times a year word. Less
Yeah.
than quarterly, less than seasonally do I use that. What about you? Are you
Yeah,
using hankering?
I don't even know if I've ever used it in my life, actually.
Now you now you
Um,
can.
I
A
was like,
hankering for
I'm
healthy chef Jose's burritos, I can tell you.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, like, it would
Yeah.
have fit in perfectly for that, so, um in the world of the NFL, there was actually some big topics that came through the Twitter feed, the X feed today. I guess if your favorite team is in the market for a running back, this is big news because there's some big name running backs that are not going to be
Mhm.
franchise tagged, meaning that they are going to be free agents. It'll be interesting to see where they land. So I'll give you a couple of names here. So there's Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Saquon, Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler were the biggest names. There were some other names out there as well. Out of these running backs here, okay, and another little side note here, the NFL did increase their salary cap by $30 million. So the teams do have a little bit more spending power. We'll see if they use any of that on these running backs. Who is the best running back available out of this group, and where do you see them going?
The best one, the one that I love, what I'd love to see, what I've got a hankering for, what I think fans would love. Saquon Barkley's only 27 years old, just turned 27. Great
Mm.
skill set, relatively healthy-ish year last year, just a terrible offensive line, terrible negative game scripts for him. I'd love to see the Texans go after Saquon Barkley. Put him behind that offensive line with Stroud, with Nico Collins, with Dalton Schultz. What a fun offense that would be. That's what they need, I think, to push him over the division. He gets some good blocking. You can't load the box because yeah, CJ Stroud. What I'd love to see, got a true hankering for, is Barkley in Houston.
I agree with you that Saquon's probably the best. He's probably gonna demand the most money though, don't you think?
I think he can. He's the youngest and probably the most athletic. I do love Jacobs. He's a year younger, but he's starting to seem to wear down a little bit.
Possibly, it's really hard to gauge with the shelf life being so low on these running backs, but look
Yeah.
at Derrick Henry, he's still churning and burning, but I feel like King Henry is probably gonna be a 1-year, $5 million pickup, don't you
How
think?
about the
Like,
Ravens for King Henry? How about the 2-2 train goes to Balmer?
I was actually gonna say Saquon in
Oh,
Baltimore, and
okay.
you're
Mm,
talking about a team that is trying to just they wanna beat Kansas City and get to the Super Bowl so bad. Just go get Saquon then. That would be one way to just throw it in there for next season, like, bam, we're locked and loaded, you
yeah.
know?
Either one of those
Um,
guys, Henry or Barkley. Wow. To the Ravens? Woo.
yeah. Now, obviously, selfishly, I would love for Tampa to get Saquon, but
He's not going the Pirates.
why not?
He's not gonna happen. He's not firing
We need
Cannon.
a running back.
He's not. No, you don't. You got Rashad White.
I
Rashad
would
White is
rather have
fantastic.
Saquon.
Not at that. You'd rather have other pieces. You got Rashad White on a very team friendly deal. Build the
Yeah,
rest of your team out. You don't need to go
we don't
spend
need
that right now.
anything else. We
Oh,
have everything we need. We just need Saquon. In other Buck news, Shaq Barrett was released as well, which,
uh,
not really that much of an excitement there. College basketball. Okay, so we're getting down to the end here of the season. There's only about 5 games left. We got conference championship tournaments after that and then March Madness. So there's teams are jockeying for seeding right now. They're jockeying for positioning in the tournament. Your Gators are just flying by right now. They I was looking at the AP top 25. They're in there 24. USF was there as well. What say you about your Gators right now being ranked and where you guys stand in the season right now? Are you happy? What's going on?
oh, I'm elated. And we talked about this as a team probably 7 weeks ago. And I said there was plenty of time just getting into conference play. Gators are going to be fine. Give Al Golden a ton of credit. It takes a while with that much action. And a lot of these coaches, not just Al Golden, dealing with the transfer portal, putting pieces together, different Lego sets. Sense of just an embarrassing loss in Oxford, Mississippi, 103-85, where the Gators got handled early in conference play, early January. Next 12 games, they've gone 9-3 in the conference to bring their SEC record to 9-5, projected as high as a 6 seed right now. I think that's their ceiling. Somewhere between 6 and 8 is pretty much locked up, which if you looked at them in early January, maybe you're just hoping we're hoping 11, 12 seed. So as high as a 6 would be really nice. Be nice to have them here in Charlotte for that first round.
Yep.
Selfishly, could happen. So they got 4 games left. Worst they're going to be, I think I put them at 11-7, best 12-6. They do have to play Alabama at home. Their losses have been in OT and been really close. They got Missouri at home. They got the Gamecocks away in Columbia. Gamecocks have been playing good basketball, but have cooled off a bit. Bama at home in that rematch, and then what's left of Vanderbilt in beautiful Nashville, which would be a nice way to end the season. So I have them at 2-2 at the worst there. Walter Clayton Jr. averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Will Richard, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. They're getting almost 30 points out of 2 guys. They got Curtis Samuel, they got Riley Kugel, they got Zion Pullen. This team is really fun to watch. We got 3 Florida teams in. So UF, FAU, and as you just alluded to, the Bulls.
Yeah, I actually I got to a point with Florida State where I was just expecting to be in the tournament there with the way Hamilton had that program rolling and his recruiting. He had 5 stars galore just transferring in and all this stuff. And we just
Yeah,
disintegrated. It's like our basketball program couldn't even sniff the NCAA tournament, let alone
not looking
just
good.
trying to break 500. It's a mockery of a program now, and
I think it's
you
time.
gotta give
I
credit.
think it's
Yeah.
time. You gotta make it probably make coaching change.
Yeah, it's up see, the thing, I thought he was gonna announce that he was gonna step down at the end of the season, but I haven't really heard much about it, and when I was looking at the last article I saw was that Hamilton had 1 season left on his contract. So he's probably one of those, like, old school guys that's, "I'm gonna finish out my contract. I signed that contract. I gotta finish out the contract."
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna come back for another year, and we'll just be 500 again. But going back to the Gators, they have 7 and 20 Vandy and 19 Mizzou coming up. Likely win those games.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
normally and forgive me, I said Al Golden, not the football coach Al Golden. It's Todd Golden. Todd, the work that you've done, I'm sorry. You're not Al, you're Todd. Todd Golden,
I was
thank you for what
I
you've
was
done.
just gonna let it go. I
Yeah,
figured that the coach going with the tie and the
yeah.
whole
Yeah,
attire.
it's
I was
totally the
like,
wrong guy. Yeah,
did he switch sports to basketball and just he's got the Gators on track?
I said it's
Amazing.
whatever it takes. Yeah.
I think that UF will probably stay in there as around a 6 or 7 seed. If you actually cared about bracketology, if this matters at all, they have UF slated to play Indiana State in the first
Sycamores,
round.
Larry
Yeah.
Bird not suiting up for that squad.
Maybe he is. I
Yeah,
don't.
that would be trouble. Please don't, Larry. If you please don't, because you probably still drop 25. So please stay retired.
Do you think he would be able to even move? Like,
Larry Bird, with his grit, would figure out a way to get 20 to 22 and make it a really painful game for the other team. I just read When the Game Was a War. Shout out to this book. It's phenomenal, written, published in 2023, relatively new. It's about the 1987 through 88 NBA season, may have been the best season in history. You had the end of the Celtics' second dynasty, the end of the Lakers' first dynasty, the emerging of the supernova that is the Detroit Pistons, where they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. I actually went to the finals 3 years in a row, won it back to back, 2 out of 3. And then just looming, prowling outside of the championship throne was Jordan and the Bulls, and that was
yeah,
just starting to blossom. Beautifully written book, great
that's awesome.
insights into the locker rooms of the players when the game was a war. Pick it up, do some reading.
That's interesting because you would never describe current NBA as a war whatsoever.
No, and that's what I miss. That we need. I don't want it to be the Lambeer brawls, but you need a little bit of physicality in the basketball game.
Yeah,
In the
it's
post. If
just
Byrne was here, he'd
yeah.
post us all up.
It goes against it goes with the fact that we're aging, obviously, like our generation. So we sound like a typical like old man. Oh, back in my day it was better. Um, but it actually was better back then.
Oh, no
Like
doubt.
I would love to be able to just describe to somebody if you're 6'8", 6'10", go down on the block and post up. What the heck are you doing at the 3-point line?
Yes, why? Why Karl Anthony Towns, I love you. I'm not taking anything away from your game, but that would never happen. Good for him, it is. He's a beautiful athlete. I'm not taking credit away. It's just that's been the transition. There's nothing right or wrong about it, but the toughness on a
Yeah.
night-to-night basis. You look at Isaiah Thomas is maybe 5'10". He had a concussion during a game, I was reading. Jordan elbowed him. He was out before he hit the ground. The trainer runs out because he has to. Isaiah Thomas, they give him some smelling salts because that fixes everything. He gets up, runs to the locker room. Trainer's chasing him. He gets to the locker room. Listen to this. Gets to the locker room. The locker room's locked. He can't get into the locker room. So he says, where else am I going to go? He goes back to the bench. Chuck Daly turns around. There's Isaiah. 2 minutes later, he's back in the game. They almost win the game. He goes right back on the floor. No concussion protocol. And I'm glad we're doing it. We should be
Yeah.
doing that. But that just speaks to the grit and some of the ignorance, but the grit of the league and the way it was.
Yeah, obviously, I'm a Knicks fan, so that's like
Oh,
the way we were our own version of a bruiser
ah,
organization as well. And then just Bajan, like us growing up going to Trinity, like the way that we learned how to play basketball was very physical.
yes,
It
you had
it
to
was
be.
like, yeah, if it was if you're running back on defense on a fast break, you better make sure he does not get a layup. And I don't care how you foul him, just make sure he doesn't get the layup off.
That's right. I wanna see him hit the 3 throws. Our practices, we didn't even touch a basketball for the first 2 weeks. We weren't shooting. There's a shooting.
Yeah.
You're just running and getting into a defensive crouch.
Yeah.
It just yeah, it's a different game, and it's a beautiful game now, I get it. Much better product from a casual fan perspective, and I enjoy
Yeah.
watching it too. I just wish we'd see a little bit more physicality, a little bit
I
more
I don't
pace.
I don't like watching Carl Anthony Towns shoot 8 threes. His shot is disgusting, number 1.
That's not a beautiful.
Um, it's not something you wanna see, like, Steph Curry, it's a very
Oh,
beautiful
it
form, like,
is,
I could
yes.
watch him shoot all day long, but when you're talking about now you got these 7'5" guys popping threes and they're putting up bricks, I'm like, "Why
Yeah.
are you just
Yeah.
let's fix this, okay? Like, you guys don't have to shoot that, you're tall. Go down there and
Let's
dunk the ball."
dominate it. Get down there.
One last thing for college basketball was the Big 12 is leading the pack with, total teams that are supposed to make it into the tournament, and the Zags are actually the last team in according to Joe Lunardi right now. Will we see, March Madness without the Zags?
I think
For
it needs the Zags. I think they should
I
be in. I
mean,
love it when the Zags are in the tournament. Put 'em
the first time in forever, what's going on over there? How
we
the
can't have that.
trouble in paradise. So one hot topic is the court storming thing. So you got Duke,
Mm.
they go down. And then Filipowski also goes down at the end of the game. There's a court storm, which I've done in the past when I was in college. It was like one of the highlights of my
What
college
did you
career.
what was the win? What was the game?
Duke, we beat
Oh,
Duke,
wow.
and yeah,
Duke
at Florida
again.
State. Yeah, we just yeah, it was Duke again. And I think there was also another one where we beat North Carolina. I've rushed the court a couple times,
You
and
didn't
so
attack Shane Battier or anything like that, you just left him alone.
I couldn't find him. He got away. But so here's the thing, it sparked widespread hissy fit from all the coaches and organizations around the NCAA, the big hissy fit right now.
Yes, see.
So, what do you think? You think they're gonna end up banning this or what?
Here's what the ACC has to put in place at a minimum would be what the other conferences has, and that's a fine. So money talks here. I think most of the other major conferences have a fine for the university, and there needs to be some security in place. I get it. It's an emotional sport, specifically college basketball, probably one of the most charged. College football, obviously passionate, but it's just such a back and forth, last minute, so exciting. I'm a big proponent of act like you've been there before and you're going to be there again. However, college hoops is a little bit different. I get it. But Wake Forest, it's not like you're UNC Greensboro beating Duke. Like you're Wake
Yeah.
Forest, Tim Duncan, you act like you've been there before. I don't know if there's a need to, we got to get the players off. It's hard. You got to protect the other
Uh,
players.
Randolph Childress, I think, was the other guard
Randolph
for
Childress. That's
wasn't
fantastic.
it?
I think
Yeah.
you're right. Didn't Chris Paul go to Wake Forest?
Yeah, Chris Paul, if you wanna count him, but,
I
Randolph
mean,
Childress
normally
was
good.
better.
Chris Randolph Childress certainly better name. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Can we meter it like traffic does in LA where you let so many fans on and then you let the next 50 on? We gotta think like a traffic HOV lane. Let's think of something. We've got to regulate this. I want to celebrate, but I want to keep the kids safe on both sides.
I'm surprised that just with the way that the world is, that they haven't taken this away already.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a cool old school tradition that happens,
Yeah.
but it's like in society that we live in now, that all that stuff goes away now. Like
Yeah.
any tradition you can think of, oh, it's a tradition, then we'll get rid of it, you know? So I'm surprised that we're even still talking about this. Like it's
Yeah.
probably just a matter of time before it happens, which Uh, I mean, now I would never storm the court, but I feel sad for kids that are in college right now that they wouldn't be able to experience that. Like
That moment.
it's Yeah, it is an amazing moment when you're there and you're in the student section and your team is not supposed to win that game whatsoever and they
Yeah,
pull it off. Amazing. Like you got to storm the court.
I
So,
agree. Let's just do it right. Let's do it with class. Everybody can have a let's keep it safe, but still, I still want them to be able to celebrate. It's hard.
there's speaking of being older, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but there was a reel that I was watching the other day. This guy Trey Kennedy, he's pretty funny comedian. Did a thing on how that you're a millennial, an old millennial or something like that. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know if you knew this or not, but just what kind of wallet do you have? Do you have a
I have.
trifold or
I
do you have one of
proudly have.
those?
So I have for one of my good friends at McGiblets. This is a shout out to you, McGiblets, in the beautiful great state of Wyoming. He lives. He sent me a. It's a just a two-fold wallet, so it just folds open, and then it has a nice brass clip in there, and it's handmade leather in Wyoming. Pretty cool. Once it's a local business that makes them. It's in between a super thick boomer wallet, like an Old Testament, and then the
Yeah.
new Rage, like the one that RFID. I actually got one of those RFID ones for
Yeah.
my wonderful in-laws this Christmas. I just haven't switched over yet because I really like the handmade leather. I think I'm in between. I'm torn in between.
Yeah.
What about you?
So apparently I have a trifold. So apparently a
Oh,
trifold wallet is whoa, but you're like how
what are
where
you
were you
carrying
going?
there? What are you
Yeah. It not much. It's actually very thin. Like I have 2 cards in there. Like I could easily be like one of the Gen Zers that have those stupid little clips that just and that's all they have. But I'm just so used to having that wallet that I don't
yeah.
wanna change it, but
You think you would
apparently
walk
that makes
differently?
me
Sit differently? It's like a comfort thing. You're used to that, like Costanza. You got like a weight
I
on a
just
certain half. Yeah.
I just know that it's there. Like the other thing to
Yeah.
put it in your front pocket.
Mhm.
So you have to get used to carrying your wallet in your front pocket. And
Mm.
I don't
Are
know,
you a
that's
back
weird
pocket
to me.
guy? Your back pocket with
It
the trifold, you have to be, right?
40 years I've been doing it now.
Yeah.
So ever since birth, I've had a trifold. The
Oh.
and then also, I don't know if you knew this or not, but no-show socks also means
Mm.
that you're old. Did you know that?
I did. So I you know me well. I'm a New Testament, Old Testament guy. I love flip-flops. Anywhere I could wear them and get away with
Oh,
them. So
that's true. Yeah.
when I do wear socks, I do find myself they're either ankle or below. I don't like
Yeah.
calf socks, and I certainly don't want anything over the knee. I like my ankles. I don't have, like, body pride, but I like my ankles. I have nice ankles, and I like for them
But
to breathe.
do you buy the higher socks for your boys, or do you mandate that they wear ankle socks as well?
Oh, they wouldn't wear that, so that's interesting you say that. They want it at least up, like, above their calf or on their calf. They
Yeah.
like stuff like a little logo on there. They're very brand
Right. Yeah,
very
yeah.
which is not a surprise. They're very brand driven. They like a certain brand. Nike, it is. So of course it is. Couldn't be like DSG. But yeah, they like the Nike like crew sock. They're into a crew.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
crew sock and you scrunch it down a little bit, and
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
the way that you wear them now. So, just a little FYI, when you're putting on your ankle socks or grabbing your wallet to put in your back pocket,
Yes.
those are signs that, like, a 22-year-old would be like, "Wow, this guy's old."
Yes, dude.
So funny. Whether or not I'm gonna change it, who knows? In the world of MLB, you might think I was actually curious about your thoughts on this here. So, the Pirates, they signed Mitch Keller to a
Mhm.
$77 million contract. They had also they this adds to Key Brian Hayes and Brian Reynolds, who they extended. They have Skeens, as we know, former number 1 starting pitcher coming in. What do you think this says about management, and do you think they have a chance to get back to a playoff with this?
Not this season. Maybe the next season. These are good steps for the Pirates. They play a baseball hungry city in a beautiful ballpark. I went to PNC this summer. First
Nice.
class experience from the ushers. They wipe down the seats before you sit in them. They
Oh,
explain to you where you're sitting. It is phenomenal experience. and a really good baseball town that wants to return to glory. They're on their way, but it's at least 2 years away. I like the pieces. I like Henry Davis. He's solid at the catcher position, number 1 overall. They've got a great all-name team as well. They got Rowdy Tellez. They got Jaowan Bay. That name is just fun to say. Jaowan Bay. It just rolls off. And then they've got, if it hadn't been for Connor Joe, I've been in the playoffs long ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where
Where
did
did
you
you come
go?
from,
Where did you
Connor
come from?
Joe?
Joe.
Isn't that fun? Connor Joe. Who doesn't love that? They got O'Neal Cruz, who's hitting balls 130 miles an hour off the bat. So a lot of pieces to like. If they win more than 70 to 72 games, I think this is a successful season for them. They could lose 90 plus. They're going to finish 4th at best in the Central, but they've got a lot of pieces. Please keep going to the ballpark. Keep believing. Help is on the way. I think they're taking the right steps. It's going to take 2 years at least.
Rowdy Roddy Tellez on a 1-year deal, 3.2 million.
They're going to love him in Pittsburgh.
It's just he's just can he bat over 208? Is that does
Not if you
he
won 28 homers. You got to give up the 28 homers, though.
he's just gonna bat I wouldn't be surprised if it's midsummer and Tellez batting average is like 178.
He's still starting,
Like
still out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
and still starting. Like it's baseball's gotten away from all those people that are high average hitters now. You'll see people batting 215 in lineups. Like it's almost not uncommon anymore. It's weird, don't you think?
it is. It's all about on base percentage and what you do, slugging. When you do hit the ball, what happens? So,
Yeah.
different game. We're reading a book about that as well. Just started it last night. Book report,
Boy, doing
Reading
a lot of reading.
Rainbow. More to come.
What do you think about Skeens?
Love skates. Let's keep the arm healthy. Let's bring him along appropriately. Let's not rush him. You know, the man has a lot of confidence, which I love. He's got a good makeup. Let's please, Pittsburgh. Let's take our time.
Who has him in fantasy? The Stuo?
Probably already illegally picked him up.
Yeah.
I think we probably drafted him last year when he went. I think Heath may have him. I think he traded for him.
I could see that. I could
Yeah,
see
we
that.
need to have Heath on the program.
Um, all right, this is like a just we're not talking about this obviously, but if you were to come across this particular situation, what do you think is more embarrassing? If you were if you had to say, you had to do a speaking engagement for your company and you were in front of lots of people and your zipper was down for the
Mm,
entire speech, okay? You have that or wearing
mm.
and also wearing colorful you have to be wearing colorful underwear during this
Okay.
situation, maybe
Well,
like a bright
that would
red
be
or
a
something.
stretch right there. Yeah. Okay.
Or falling onto the stage before the speech and then having to get up from that, and then you're fine, you can say the speech after that. What do you think would be more embarrassing?
For Burn, ladies are hoping that the fly is down. This man is a silver fox. So we know what his answer would be. Burn, I'll answer for you. There would be so many excited women out there. For me, it would just be disappointment. I mean, the most exciting part would probably be looking at that colorful boxer, as my long suffering wife would tell you. But give me the fall. I think a good fall and then getting up, it's a good story. You probably could open up. I prefer the fall because then you get it out of the
Yeah.
way. People, you can get some, depending on how you handle it well, you build it into the speech. It's memorable. The unzip thing is like, dude, did you look at yourself or what's going on? I think I'd rather take the fall than get up and then build that in, incorporate it into the routine.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on, like, how dramatic of a fall it was. Like, if it was, like, a
What?
terrible one
Yeah.
where it just everybody's just, like, laughing and making all kinds of noises for 5 minutes. I don't know. That would be
Yeah,
a tough one right there, actually.
it would.
Um Now, this I don't know if you were surprised by this. You shouldn't be, but Tiger Woods, I was all excited that he was gonna be playing in the
Mm.
Genesis. We were gonna get to see a little bit of 2024 version of Tiger Woods. What does he have left in the tank? Can he win Augusta? Can he win another major? But he had to withdraw. So what do you, how does this affect his 2024 season and just going forward for Tiger?
I'm gonna remember Tiger for the man that he was and just appreciate what we get. So it was his camp is saying it was not his health, it was an illness.
Yeah.
Clearly, had he been served properly by a healthy Chef Joe, there would have been no issue. He probably would have placed top 10 in the
Absolutely.
tournament. But this is you feel for him. It's illness, it's the back, it's the knee. What we get is what we get. I'm thankful for the memories that we have, and I look forward to when he can play. I do hope that he is healthy for the Masters. I love to see him out there at Augusta. Love to see him at the Players. That would be wonderful. Love to see him at Bay Hill. That schedule seems too deep, but those events would be great to see him at because I have those memories of him dominating those fields, and I
Yeah.
love to watch him play those courses.
It's just sad to me.
Yeah.
I don't have any confidence whatsoever that he can make it through 4 days of golf. I just it doesn't seem like he has the physical capability to do it, let alone win the tournament. I don't even know if
Yeah.
he can make it through 4 rounds of golf. I hate to say it, but I think we've seen his last major. I don't think he's gonna get another one. Do you think?
It would have to be the Masters,
Yeah,
and he'd have to be in great shape. That is possible. He has such a strong mental fortitude. I'm never going to count him out. He could win that one or at Pebble. If there was a major again at Pebble where he ran away with it, he knows those two courses so well. But I think the Masters would be the most likely, but I wouldn't 20 to 25 to 1 would be the best bet, best odds I'd place.
yeah. I don't even know what the odds would even freaking be. The way that the sports books do it now is just whether or not he's gonna even make the cut.
Yeah.
That's like he's turned into such an underdog that we don't even think he's gonna make the cut anymore, you
Will
know?
he or will he not be in a golf cart? It's the wager you can make now. It's not
Yeah,
only one.
if by some miracle he could make it to the final day at Augusta within a couple strokes of the leader, I don't that the ratings would be through the roof. I don't
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
the
He went,
ratings
yeah.
yeah. I think the ratings already are through the roof for the Masters, right?
And they don't need any more.
Yeah, I don't know if
The
there's any
Cognizant
more
Classic
ratings.
needs the ratings. The Cognizant Classic could use the ratings.
The the next tournament is the Cognizant Classic, but Charlie Woods auditioned to make that. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did. The kid at what is he, 15, 16?
Yeah, he's somewhere around there.
Keep playing. The kid's gonna be fine. There's my money's on Charlie. No better on the golf course. Nope. Nobody better to emulate than his father. So give me Charlie
Yeah.
long term. He's gonna be fine. Kid's young. Just gotta keep him healthy, keep him focused, keep him engaged. He's gonna be really fun to watch.
Yeah, he was actually getting heckled. He ended up going 16 over, but he's hearing it from the gallery already.
Oh, the gallery, I will tell you, talk about as the NBA gets softer on the court, the golf course fans getting much more saltier. It starts at the
Yeah,
Waste Management Open, and woo, you're hearing some comments. And then the golfers
I
fight back.
like
This will
that.
get really interesting.
That would be the way that I would be. I would love that.
With that
But
mustache,
I
you'd definitely be yelling.
I just don't I really don't understand it because like they say that it in basketball, yeah, it's fine. You can play basketball with that with the crowd making noise while you're shooting a free throw to try to win the game. But you have to be ultra silent
Why?
for somebody to hit a putt. Like why? Like what?
Why?
Why? Who made that rule for golf that like these guys? They're just like, be quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
You're
at work. This is my job.
you distracted me. I get to go again. Like this is just ridiculous.
Legalize mulligans to bring a full circle there. There
Yes.
you go.
In other news, speaking of bringing things back, EA Get in the Game
Oh,
sport
oh.
or it's in the game, right? That's
Yes.
their slogan.
Yep. Nailed it.
So it's official. NCAA football is back. It's going to be back this fall. My question to you is it better? Do you think that is it better than Madden? Like, what's your
Yes.
excitement level for this one?
Yes. Excitement level. So if I've done one thing right as a parent, my oldest son saved his money for 6 months to buy an Xbox 360 so that he could save his money for another month to buy a NCAA football 2014 so that he can play the last version of this game, which he plays at least 3 to 4 nights
Nice.
a week. And we have
Wow.
talked and discussed recruiting classes, playbooks. We have been waiting for this for 3 years. I've been waiting for it for a decade. And finally, it's here. This is the best sports game in the market. It hasn't even been made yet. EA Sports couldn't even screw this up because all they have to do is just give us 2014 with updated graphics. That's all I want. Don't get cute. Give me the recruiting classes. Let us all do that. They're giving the players $600 each for a buy-in and a copy of the game. That's the way to do it. I cannot wait till July. Countdown. The advent calendar is on.
That's amazing. Me and you had some battles in NCAA
Oh, yes, yes, have. Oh, I cannot wait. We're gonna
back
have an
in the day.
online dynasty.
Yeah.
We're getting the online dynasty back up. The band's back together, baby.
Yeah.
Big A,
It's,
get ready. Josue,
yeah,
get ready.
an amazing game. I don't wanna play Josh. He's probably just too good, don't you think?
Josh immediately from picking it up will beat all of us immediately.
Why is he so good at video games? It's ridiculous.
His one of his many talents. His brain just works that way.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I don't, I was like, I don't like playing video games with Josh. But so it made me think, actually, I'm pumped for this game to come out. But it made me wonder, is there a chance that NBA Live could come back, or is it just NBA
Oh,
2K is just it rules the NBA world?
I could you would have to make such a legendary effort to unseat 2K24. It's the other game that's being played in our house right now, and it
Yeah,
is just phenomenal.
I know,
It's right up there with MLB The Show. Those 2 games represent both of their sports so authentically,
I
yet they
know.
keep it fresh with updated rosters, with new game modes. They're doing what Madden is not doing, and they do it consistently year after year. Those 2 games are tremendous. 2K24 is phenomenal.
So no NBA Live?
I only if they make Rick Fox the way that he was. And for those of you who haven't seen it, just YouTube Rick Fox NBA Live 95.
Still love NBA Live. It was amazing. When 2K came out, I was pissed off. I was like, "It's not anything like NBA Live.
Yeah, what
This
is
is
this
bullcrap."
garbage? Yeah.
'Cause I was like a EA Sports guy. Like, I
Oh,
was used
totally.
to playing
Yeah.
EA Sports. It's just I once they got rid of those games, I took a break from video games there. But I'm definitely gonna be getting this NCAA game. This is gonna be amazing. And my wife will be even more upset that I'm just spending more time on the PlayStation.
It's time well spent. You could do it with your boy. It's time well spent. It's investing. You can understand running an NCAA franchise. It's good for the future.
Yeah, we'll see. We're definitely gonna be going at it on that one.
I can't wait.
It's very exciting. When the trailer came, because I thought it was coming out next season. I didn't know that it was coming out this fall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's just absolutely amazing. So I'm wondering how they're gonna do it with the recruiting and stuff. It's not gonna be real recruits, right? Or you think it will be?
I don't know that they'll have the high school licenses. I don't maybe that's next if we're I don't know how
Yeah,
that works. I think obviously the players in the game will be authentic who's currently on the
with their
rosters. I think
names.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the name and likeness where you had the likenesses were there in the past. You had a name of yourself, which has been hours doing, which is time well invested. I could see future state someone is going to probably make the upcoming high school class, which you could probably download on Xbox Live or in the PlayStation Store. That would not surprise me that someone would go out and do that and do the next and the next high school classes being imported, which is pretty cool.
Classic teams?
Please, we need classic teams. How neat would that be? Pay the old guys too. I don't know. Maybe there's a statute of limitations where you don't. Maybe you could just put Archie Griffin
Yeah.
from the 75 Ohio State Buckeyes, or you could have Danny Werfel lighting it up in 96, or Charlie
Just as
Ward.
long as Ed O'Bannon's not in the game, right?
It's definitely Ed O'Bannon will definitely not be there.
So, here's my thing though, because that's the one of the things that I hate about Madden is that they don't have the classic teams. Like, you can't play with,
Barry Sanders.
like yeah,
Yeah.
you can't play with, like why? What NBA
Figure it
2K,
out.
you can go back all the way and play with the '70s guys.
I love that you can start the franchise back there and then do the draft classes in NBA 2K and then resubmit who you would have gotten. I think that is so cool. So well done.
Yeah.
So deep.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that EA Sports no, EA Sports does Madden too.
Yeah.
So maybe they're not
Ooh,
gonna have classic teams then.
please don't screw it up.
I wanna be the 2000s. I wanna be like every Florida State team known to man in that game
Yeah.
and just
Get
be able
Warwick
to
Dunn, Derrick Brooks, Tamarick
Jameis
Vanover,
Winston.
maybe? Tamarick Vanover, get
Yeah.
him going.
It just or if they had like an all-time team for each college.
Janikowski, just hitting them from
Yeah.
70.
Ah. Oh my goodness. I'll see because there's actually one of the girls that goes to my daughter's school, the dad is an executive for EA Sports, and he's assigned to the NCAA game specifically.
Wow, good guy to
I was at his
know.
house last year, so he was giving me a little bit of insights on the fact that it was definitely coming. It's just he didn't know the exact date. It didn't come to my mind to ask him about classic teams because I if I would've just been like, "Make sure you have classic
Yeah,
teams in there,
yeah.
bro." Like, I might have been able to go right to the source on it,
It's
you
not
know?
it's not too late. It's not too late, huh?
It's too late,
Yeah, maybe it's too late.
but at least it's coming back, so we'll see what that gives us. It's gonna be amazing, I'm sure. But yeah, that's gonna do it for, this episode of Sports Caviar. Make sure that you guys check out Chef Healthy Chef Jose on IG and pay attention to those no-show ankle socks. So yeah, if you wanna be
Right.
cool.
Bern, thanks for what you're doing for women's health and the communities that you serve. We missed you, Bern. Caviar connoisseurs, thanks for suffering through just me. I know you miss Bern. It's always great to have Hav, and at least the mustache was here. We enjoyed it.
The
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
mustache, yeah.
God bless.
See you guys later.